Hello everybody. Today we're going to get on with our tree painting. So I've already mixed a little bit of paint here. So I'm going to start adding a little bit more of the dark shading, and then I'm just going to go and add some more branches just for today. I just want to see just under this branch here, it's got a lot darker. So I'm just going to add some more shading and start bringing it out a little bit into those little leaves. And that branch comes out a little bit more there, like that. And then the branch is a lot darker. With these charcoal paints, you do have to build them up a little bit, layer by layer. Because this particular paint that I'm using is from my chimney, and it's a kind of a browny black, which is interesting because the other black that I got from my chimney was a really dark black, but they're from the same place. You don't have to be too specific about these branches. You don't have to do them exactly as is if you don't want to. If you want to, you can, of course. But I'm not. I just want the general shape of the tree rather than every single detail. Because I like to add details as I go. It's a little bit darker. I think there's actually a branch here looking at it as well. It kind of twists around and disappears into the ivy about there. So what I'll do later is emphasize that, because I can see on the photograph it has a white edge where the light is hit it. Yeah, it's definitely a branch there. And this one is quite thick, and it goes up and into this one. But this one is a lot darker and a bit thicker than I had it before. But before we just did the general outline, so we knew where everything was. There's a little bit that comes out there, looks a little bit dotty. There's all these little bits. There's a lot darker just around here. And there's a gap there that's quite light, and then there's dark bits under here. And lots of branches. So we can really go to town with all these little branches. They twist and move across each other. There's a branch that goes just over his little nosy bit. I think this is an old branch. It's snapped off at some point in time, so it looks like he's got a long nose. Some people like to paint light to dark, some dark to light. With these particular paints, dark to light seems to work best. And you can keep adding, and then once you put the light white ones on the top, as we'll show you later, you have to then blend them out. When you're working with natural pigments like this, earth colours, they can be very different. Some are quite gritty, some dry, some are completely transparent when you put them on, so you can't see what you've done until it's actually dried, and that tends to be the light colours that do that. I'm just working some more branches. And what I'm going to do is slowly add some more to this off camera, and next time when we come back we can finish even more detail, because otherwise this video will take years. I just want to show you the basics. This has got some really interesting little branches, this one. Lots of doubles that cross each other. It's really confusing when you're looking at all of these branches. My mind gets boggled sometimes and I can't see them, and I end up painting the wrong ones, but it doesn't really matter as long as the actual shape resembles the tree that I want, because nobody's going to be looking at all the branches and saying, oh, you've missed that one, as long as the main branches are there, because that's where people's main focus is on the main branches. So they're not going to notice if you miss a couple of the little ones out. So many little branches twisting and turning off this one. It's quite fascinating. I do often do branches lighter and then add the dark ones on top if there's branches that are further away, which will become more apparent when we do this because some of these branches are lighter. But because this tree is mainly in silhouette, because of the way the light was when I took the picture, I'm just painting them in black straight away. Whereas before I usually paint them in a light brown, and then I can add branches on when I want to add more. It's got a nice kind of V shape there. This one's all twisty. I can't tell whether this one goes behind or in front of this branch. I think it goes behind it. Again, I'm just adding some more of the main branches. That one's a little bit wrong in size there, but again, it doesn't really matter. As long as the shape is there. So we've got all these little branches. We've got a branch that comes down here and a nice little twisty. And then it goes into a big Y shape. A lot of branches go into these Y shapes. And then this one comes up to meet it, and again in a little V shape or Y shape, depending on which way up it is. Sometimes you get these like twisty, crookedy bits. Sorry, I'm just shuffling on my chair. There's another big Y shape there. And this one again goes off in like a bendy shape, and it's got lots of little bits that stick across the top. Sometimes you get like little clusters of sticks that just look like hair, almost look like hairy bits of the tree. There's a big one coming down there. This one forks off into 2 or 3 little bits and meets up with a branch from up there. And then it kind of, some of them go past it. It's got a long branch coming off from that one, going in a straight line. And one that comes straight from this side, goes up like that in a zigzag, which is a nice fun shape. And then it goes off. Another little V. It's nice when you look at the main shapes of the trees. You can just start to see what the other leaves would look like without you having to exactly draw them. So you can kind of finish the tree with lots of little branches. And the more you draw branches, the more you get used to how they move and the shapes that they are. And you actually find there's not really any shape that a branch can't be, because they just end up in so many different shapes. Like this one, it comes down and then it's got like a little crook like that, and then there's another one that goes beneath it and tails off. There's one that follows through that one, and then these ones are really spiky and jagged. There's one that comes down off that and then goes into a big loop and arches up. And then there's a funny one down here that goes up and then comes down and then goes up again. So I hope you've enjoyed that few minutes again, just of drawing little branches. I hope you could see them. Let me zoom in a little bit if I can. So these are the shapes that we've done today. Just added that branch down there and added a few more the darkest areas of the tree, and just elongated his nose a little bit. So thank you again for joining me. So as I said, I'm going to work on this tree a little bit more, so there's a little bit more done for next time, a few more branches, and then when we come back together we can finish some more detail. So have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next time.